Some people love world building, coming up with systems of government and magic and settings and landscapes. That sounds like a lot of fun, but it is definitely not for everyone, and it is something I have struggled with through pretty much all of my past projects. If you are in a similar boat, hopefully some of the stuff I have learned along the way can be of some help. Hey WordNerds, happy Monday. So today we are talking about world building because when it comes to new ideas, I never have any problems coming up with plot. I know what's going to happen and the big conflict and all of those big picture things. But when it comes to putting my characters into a world and letting that plot unfold, everything tends to implode. Coming up with an entire world can be so daunting and so challenging, and it is something I have struggled with pretty much constantly. So here are a few quick tips to help you jump into world building instead of constantly just ripping out your hair and trying to figure it all out before getting down to the business of actually writing your story. Tip number one is to start with mechanics. If you are writing a contemporary story set in the real world, you are pretty much good to go here. You know how things work, you know how governments work, and housing and plumbing and pretty much everything without really having to think about it. So you are kind of ahead of the game. In fantasy stories, this might be the magic system. So how does magic happen? Where does it come from? What are the rules? In science fiction, this is technology, what has been invented so far, what is possible, what is thought to be impossible, and why, and how does this affect the day-to-day life of your characters. You can pretty much work out what you need to figure out based on the genre of your story, but have a look at what is going to be most important to your characters and your plot, and start building from there. Tip number two is to figure out, with the story you already have in your head, where does your character fit into the world? What is their class or job, or how do they figure into the bigger political picture? Maybe they don't at all, and they are just kind of working a minimum wage or equivalent job trying to get by. Maybe they are big into politics and kingdoms and all of that fun stuff. Figure out where they are, what they do, and basically all of the things you need to know in order for that to happen, and you can kind of go from there. Because tip number three is to just start writing. As long as you have these basic things down about how things work in terms of a big picture and who your character is in that world, sometimes it helps to just jump in and figure out things as you need them. In some cases, this is going to mean pausing as you are doing your first draft in order to work things out and kind of go back to world building. But in a lot of cases, when you jump into the story and kind of start picturing things in your head, some things will come to you fairly easily, a lot more easily than you imagined. And sometimes if things don't end up working out in the long run, you can fix that in revisions. You'll have enough to go on just by doing these two things, and hopefully things will continue to unfold from there. So hopefully this was helpful. These are the two things I keep coming back to whenever I get stuck on world building, which is often. And of course, don't forget to join us on Sunday for our next live chat. This is going to be a write-in and it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully we will see you there at 7:30 Eastern Time.